This is Justin AMZN for Friday, March 20th, 2020. Taking a look at the daily. We did end up making up into the top of this channel here, right around 1950. But there's more going on here I want to jump into a little bit before talking about everything that happened on Friday. We did get a big bearish candle, but we actually got quite a bit higher. And it's just a massive run up from where we were down here just, last week. So I was trying to figure out, obviously we've got the channel in here, trying to figure out, where it would stop going up. And I didn't expect it to go up here. And it actually got almost to 2000. You can see that pre-market. So I've got the pre-market turned on. I'm zoomed out to a 4-hour chart. And the level we made it up to is 1996. A couple weeks ago, actually back on the 3rd, so really not that long ago, we had a high here of 1996 and 33 cents. That's what I'm trying to figure out what's making this price significant. We even had this kind of rest after battle pattern here with some lows right around the same area, in the 1980 price range. Really what I think has happened here and here is very much a retest of this S curve, this area from below. We sort of retested it here, bad circle, sort of retested it here and started to bounce, and then obviously did not, rolled over. And then ever since then, we had some retesting back in the same area. And so there's multiple retests of this price. I had no idea that we were going to go from way down here, running all the way up this high, and then come back down. I thought we were going to turn around and go back down sooner. So I have been advocating for people to get out of bullish positions, scale back if you are in them, look to reload lower. But I did not think we would get back up to this level. It seems like a really good level to retest looking at it like this. I really thought we were going to hold lower in the 1800s or maybe get up to 1925. And we did that yesterday, and we did it again. We did it on Thursday and did it again Friday. So let's jump back down into the 5. The drawings I had in here, the only thing that I really saw holding well, come on, let me scroll. The only thing I saw really holding well for a number of days was the low through here. But it was drawing from here to here to here. It was connecting these two. We didn't really get as low enough to catch it. And we got a little bit of a bounce here on Friday, and then we broke down through it. This high did not hold as a wedge, so I'm getting rid of that. But it looked like if I had just drawn this a bit higher, maybe up to here, we would have caught a high and some of these highs and kind of run through those highs. And then we were coming back down on Friday. And really, we were just trading this channel. You kind of play around with it. You can get right at the high, but obviously that's hindsight. So I kind of like, actually, if we tilt this up a little higher and we're kind of running right along here for the highs, this was still kind of a false breakout or too early of a breakout. We got a little more of that breakout this day, but really, this is where we started moving even further bullish than I anticipated based on where that wedge line was coming in on the highs. So this it's really a large move. Again, somewhat of too far, too fast sort of retracement of the bearish move. But I think we've got some room to go back down. I really do think we'll continue back down, even to the low 1600s, and see what happens there. If we continue going down, look out below. But I think we've got plenty of room to get from 1800s down to 1600s very soon here. As I'm doing this video, keep an eye on where the futures market's at. It was already limited down earlier. It bounced a bit. But we'll see if we can actually limit down or start hitting some of those limits once the market opens on Monday. And that will probably push Amazon down even further here. So we'll just be watching that closely. But anyway, getting back into the day here, very much a retracement pullback day. It went really high, and then everything was pulling back. It really didn't have a really great bullish move like it's had. It's just been up for many days in a row. This was the the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 bullish days in a row. This was the sixth day where we were, up. And some people thought, okay, that's where to buy, but obviously it was not. Got a really nice inverted hammer here, and really just held the 21 the rest of the day, really all day. Let's see. I think we had a close above, close above, close above. So 3 near the open, and then 1 near the close, and that was it. I guess this one's like right on there. But we went through some pivots really, really well today. Friday, yeah. So this held as a nice channel until it didn't. We got a bit of a triangle or a stair step here that broke down. It was somewhat, just breaking down. It looked like, it was just kind of crashing through pivots. There wasn't any real reason I could find that it was, bouncing here. But it did bounce back right into the 21. So that happened multiple times today where we just either went sideways and we're holding the 21, or we retraced into the 21. And then, so broke down again, got down here, came back up to the 21, just really nicely moving it to the 21. And there's a lot of pivots here that we were going down through. So there were some signals along the way that, we had a couple squeezes during the day, kind of pointing to, okay, a bigger pullback could happen. And then it started to. Looking at calls, looking at bullish positions, we really got going, big, this was the 1950 call. Like, this was cheap, crazy cheap, around $1 or $2 a couple days ago. And then really Thursday, Friday really started to skyrocket. I mean, Tuesday, it really had a nice move. But that was kind of sustained on Thursday. And then Friday, we were really contending with those highs again. And again, just seeming to be too high and too fast. So looking at a bullish move, looking at this consolidation, seeing things break down multiple times, it's like, okay, where do you get in on something like that? Now I'm way out of the money. This is 1,800 puts. And you can see they held around $50 all day long as a low. You easily could have been doing absolute zero, getting into 2 of these for $100 and just flipping them out at 2. And again at 2, or this made it all the way up to a high of about 6. Again, what would have told you to hold through that till 11:30 and get out there? Nothing I can really see here. But as this is breaking down and it's going in your direction, it's like, okay, we've got to pivot here on 1860. It's 1863.84. Let's get out there. That would have been at 11:05 getting out at that price. And at 11:05, it was up around 3. So maybe getting in at 50 and getting out at 3, still a really nice gain. And then again over here, this was 105, 130, maybe low. So around the times it was coming into the 21 were good times to be getting in, or looking to get in near low. And like I said, that value of the low held. If we go closer, the 1850s or 1850 strike. This one actually went in the money. So we put in a low closer to 2 near the open, and then came back down into that price at about 10.10. And that was that was the last time we touched the 1925 price. And we hit it exactly. 1925.10 here, 1925.25 here. You can just see it that we just popped right into that. I mean, I can barely even see a little point of a candlestick above this. But great places to be, buy low, sell high. So you want to sell high. You want to get into puts when it's high. Here it is high and about to roll over. And we've had 5 bullish days in a row. It makes sense. It's going to pull back. So looking to get in cheap put, it's the right place to do it. We went up so high on this put. It's just crazy. So like in these prices here, the range was a little bit wide. The range in these candles was a little bit wide. And so maybe you saw this as an opportunity to get around 2 and you missed it. And it's like, okay, it's pulling back. Maybe I can get in like 3 by 2 and it'll just hold that level, and so you're getting in at 3 and that would have worked here. The low was 285. So you should have been filled at 3. Can see what happened there. So if you were in at 3 here, that was the last time I saw 3 that day. It ran up. I mean, it easily were out at 10R if you were holding to 1105 where it got to that next pivot. You got some other opportunities to get in again later. Again, it was more expensive later just because of how far it was moving and the volatility built in. Even though if it was out of the money, it should have gone to 0 by the end of the day. Instead, it was in the money and closed in the money. We had a close. Even the close was crazy. We ran up to 1850s and then came back down and closed with this option in the money. But this would have been really expensive to hold through that 5 minutes. That's why studying the last 10 minutes of the day. But that's why studying the way these options move, looking for cheap plays at the end of the day, can really work out well. And I'll tell you about one of those in a minute here. But it was harder to get in later in the day. Now, if you had bought over here and held through this move up to 10R and up to almost 20R, if you held through all that and then it was way down here again, and you were looking at maybe getting in at 3 and getting, being only up 3, and then it started to go again, I'm like, great, but there were better ways to play it. Getting in and out quickly and getting in again and out again quickly, or holding through one of those, knowing you've got house money to play with. Otherwise, you should be doing, or could be doing, absolute zero. At any point you're getting into one of these, and if you can't find the right option, if you can't find the right price with this option, go to an option further out. So again, we're sticking with the 25, 50, 75, and zeros. This was a lot lighter, but gave you some other opportunities. Getting in at $100 right here, absolute zero, and that flew up to 10. Taking some of those gains, getting back in at 2, doing absolute zero. So now you're risking double, but you have some of the gains from house money that you put back in with your own, or you're just trading all house money, seeing what else you can do with it. So you're in at 2, and let's say you get out at 6 or 7 or 8, and then you've made something with house money. That kind of thing, where you're putting the house money to risk. You're going to be up on the day no matter what. Those are opportunities that I like to look for too. So coming back in here, let's go back down to the 1850 call, because this was one of my best end of day trades I've ever done. So you can see, this is just what's crazy. Look at the price. I can't even get out on the chart. It is really hard to see this. I'm just going to go down to a 1 minute just because I can zoom in on the range a little better. But you can see, okay, wow. I went to a 1 hour. Not 1 minute. There we go. Okay. Here we go. On the day on Friday, we had a high over $100 on the option. So, man, that's just crazy how far that fell. This thing, okay, it didn't expire at 0. It got close. But yeah, just crazy. So this would have been 10 grand. That's what it is. This is 10 grand, and with just one. This cost 10 grand at the end of the day, or at the start of the day. And at the end of the day, it was worth $300. Like, that's what options can do in a day. It's crazy. So I'm going to zoom in on the end of the day, because this is what I didn't do anything with that. I didn't sell it that high and buy it back down here, but that would have been great. Maybe one day I could do that, but a lot of margin to be able to do that too. So anyway, I bought with Absolute Zero. I bought $100 worth down here. So I bought it one, and the very next minute flipped it out at 5. And so that was a 4-hour gain in a minute because of how this moved here. And then I did it again, buying at, where was it? Oh no, I went out to another strike. With this strike, went out to the 1860 strike, and I did it again. I bought at 50, bought 2 at 50. At this minute at 257, and I sold at 1. I was trying to get filled at 2. It didn't make it back up at 2. When I saw it wasn't getting up to 2, I lowered my exit to 150. Saw that, watching this second by second, did not get filled at 150. I lowered it to 1, and I was happily out a minute, before the last minute of the day. I know it was. We're not talking 2 minutes for the end of the day. We're talking there's a full minute left, plus some seconds here. It was plus those seconds here that I was trying to get out of this, getting out of 2 contracts at the end of the day. And so this is the latest in the day that I've put on trades and exited trades, obviously without letting them expire. And then there's some risk, obviously, with this, that if they expire in the money, then I own those, and I own 100 shares worth of AMZN. So that can be a lot too. So anyway, I'm really proud of watching this, stalking this, actually getting, buying and selling in the last couple of minutes of the market. Really in the last 7, 8 minutes is I made 5R, in the last few minutes of the day. And this is something I've been stalking for a while, trying to get the right setup, trying to just calm my own nerves of, what I have to do, and just kind of putting everything else aside and be like, okay, I'm just going to buy here, I'm going to sell here. And I just threw an order in at 5. I probably could have thrown an order out at 6 and may have still filled. It was the first thing I punched in. I sent it and it filled instantly. It's like, oh, that was way easier than I expected. So again, I did it with Absolute Zero. So I'm expecting that I'm putting an order on for $100, buying in the last 7 minutes of the day. I'm going to lose $100 in 7 minutes if this doesn't work. Or if it all of a sudden does one of these and it moves in the money, then I'm going to own those shares and have to pay the broker, owning those shares. And that's not something I want to do. So it's like, I want to get out no matter what. I want to get out of this because I don't want to run the risk of it being in the money. So I set the order, $100 to get in. It filled instantly, or not quite instantly. And I got the fill right here. I know it was this minute, and it's crazy. It was the low price. There's only 6 of them that minute. Crazy. Okay. So I was one of them. And then selling here at 5. I don't think I have any more. I don't think I can go tighter than a minute. I know some brokers let you do like second charts. Can I do? I think that's 1 minute. I don't think they'll let me do. Yeah, I can't type anything smaller than a minute. Okay. So anyway, I bought at 1 and out at 5, so 4-hour, and went out to a different option trying to do it again, because this one wasn't coming back down to $1 again. It's like, okay, if I want to risk $1, I need to get further out of the money, just a little bit, and I've only got a few minutes to do it. So that was even more of a challenge of just kind of the mental side of it with the 1860 call, knowing that, okay, I have in 3 minutes I'm going to lose an R, or if it moves in the money, I'm gonna own that. So this was one that's like, okay, I have to do this instantly. I can't think about it. I can't wait for it. I just have to execute what I plan to get in and get out, and be able to adjust, because I don't want to market order out of this and lose. I want to try and gain something. So that's what I was watching it. And easily in that last minute, well, second to last minute, it could have gone to zero. Entirely possible. Would have instantly been out. Probably still could have gotten something filled. So not been a full R loss. But again, it's kind of getting over your own mental. Um, what is it? Getting over your own mental faculties, whatever it is, that you don't want to take that loss, and just taking it, just choosing, okay, I'm going to get out at this price. That was the next step. So if I wasn't out at one, then I would have been trying for break even. And very quickly, if I'm necking out for break even, then I would probably do a market order to get out for something in the last minute, because I don't want to be holding a limit order into the last minute and then it goes expired. And if it has a big move, something, I just want out. So that's kind of the risk you run. And I don't know who that's happened to or how much that's happened to people. I don't know. Holding an order like that and ending up having an option that's in the money. I know that there's issues involved in terms of margin and what you actually owe, what you own versus what your account can actually afford, all that kind of stuff that has to be, taken care of with the broker right after close. And that's not something I've had to deal with or want to deal with either. So anyway, if we go back to kind of look at this option, just losing value all day long and getting into something bullish, just looking for this kind of a pop. So it was literally within this candle itself. Here, I'll jump into the 1 minute here. You can see what it was doing. Give me a sec to slow down. Here we go. Okay, so we just kept rolling down. It's like, oh, okay, we kind of bottomed here. I think we'll retrace. If we can at least retrace to 1841.30, this thing has a decent chance to move. So I was getting in at this candle, looking for a move back up to here. That's all it was. I wasn't looking for the move back up here or up to here. I was just looking for a move back to the pivot. I thought if it does that, I should be able to make something from buying at $1 and selling at $5. And it did. It worked out great. Doesn't always. So I'm going to continue to look for these. I just want to talk through a little bit more of what I was doing, kind of what I saw here. There's a lot of selling off, and the last few weeks we've had a big bullish move right into the close on these Fridays, whether it's retracement or whatever it is. But there's been some bullishness coming in, and it doesn't always happen on Friday. I've just seen that and waiting for the option to get just about all the premium sucked out of it. It's the 1850, so it actually went in the money here in the last 6 minutes of the day. But otherwise, it was going to go to zero. It was going to be worthless, and it only had extrinsic value in it to get back into the money, and then it had a little bit of intrinsic. And that probably would have helped me get out regardless for something. Buying at 1 and getting out, this would have been worth, up here would have been worth 3. Because it was $3 in the money. That would have been, it turned extrinsic value to intrinsic value. So that's probably why I could have gotten out, not at 5, but 6 or 7, or even trying at 8, because it had intrinsic plus whatever is left of extrinsic per the volatility in the last 6 minutes of the day. So anyway, a lot going on here. It's, you got to be paying attention. You got to be watching closely. When you're doing it live. But I encourage you, in a couple days here, the on demand will be functioning for this day, and you can go back and go through and kind of trade this and kind of get a feel. I mean, go through the whole day as it's going down and watch these candles as they're forming, because these are really small candles, really bearish small candles, just continue to sell down. All of a sudden you get a little bit of bullishness coming in. It comes back to the 21 here. It's like, okay, it's resting. What is this doing? And then all of a sudden it's from this candle to this candle, it's like all of a sudden it starts to pop. And it just, must have been within 10, 15 seconds, it was up here. It felt like it went that fast. I'll have to go back and watch and see how fast it actually went. But it was really quick here. It took literally about a minute to go from getting in at 1 and getting out at 5. And in about a minute having a 4-hour gain. And this is, I don't want to say it was easy by any means, because you have to fight your own focus. You have to fight your own anxiety. You have to stick to what you plan to do of getting in, getting out. And you have to be able to adapt very quickly if you're going to lock something in. and to avoid the risk of having something expire potentially in the money. You got to know your broker. There's a lot that goes into it. And so, just getting good at the candles, getting good at the movement, watching these live. And I've watched so many of these live, and it's like, whoa, that did not expect to have that move. I wouldn't have been surprised if it moved up into 1860 or 1875 from the move it had the last Friday. It moved like 50 points in the last, was it 5 minutes or 10 minutes or something? And this day it moved from about 1820 up to 1850, so 30 points in just literally a matter of 5 minutes here. So that's the kind of thing that Amazon can do. That is one of my favorite things about trading Amazon options, is because of how volatile it can be. Regardless of volatility we're seeing everywhere in the market right now, Amazon has had this kind of volatility, and it's had opportunities like this to have something that's really small get really big very quickly. In some cases, it's just happening a whole lot more quickly. And so what used to take an afternoon to do, it's now doing it in a matter of a few minutes. And I'm getting better now at being nimble to do that kind of thing. So I really hope this helps. We'll keep an eye on things this week, and hopefully Friday we'll have some more opportunities like this into the close. I hope this helps. This is Just AMZN. Thanks.